Hey, how's it going, guys? Saya here. Back. I'm back. I'm back to rise. Okay, no, okay, I'll stop. Hey, so I'm back after like a year or 8 months of hiatus. I don't know. Maybe it's been longer. Been a while since my last ML video. But I'm back, and what better way to return than covering Badang, who was recently reworked about a month or two ago now at this point. But hey, he's finally been reworked. He's finally got some of the stuff that I've been asking for. So, what's the verdict? What can I say? What is the former global Badang, former top US A1 number one Badang's got to say about his rework? Where do I think he stands right now in the meta? And yeah, just what do I think about this man? I think this man got some good stuff. You know, it's a lot of pros and cons, and it's been a lot of power creep since back when he was good, as well as he got one of his best tools taken away, which wasn't even part of his kit. It was actually a glitch, you know, but it be what it be. So let's just get straight into it. First off, I'll quickly cover his rework. Everyone knows what it is by now. I'll just mention the pros and cons of the rework, basically. His ult no longer gives shield. That's kind of sad. It's pretty sad, I'm not going to hold you. There are a lot of times where I can use my ult as an escape tool, and that will only work because of the knockback plus the shield. Just the knockback sometimes is not enough. And yeah, I've died because of that. Because my S2 is on cooldown, so I can't get my shield. Hate to see it. Hate to see it. That being said, one of the big pros is that his ult is fully immune to CC throughout the whole duration, unless you cancel it. So yeah, he can't get wrecked by the shield anymore. It's before he would get railed, his shield would get deleted, and then his ult ends. Sad. Now his ult lasts the whole time, so you love to see it. Only downside, obviously, is the fact that he can still get suppressed, but that's always been the case. Privilege, you know. If only, right? If only Badang could suppress enemies. Slightly broken, but it's fine. All right, now on to his S2. His S2 is something that I feel very janky about. I really like the mobility of the old S2. The old S2, whenever you miss it, it gets 50% cooldown reduction. It literally cuts 5 seconds off the CD time. It was so nice. You can literally just use it to get across the map. It was amazing. It was a huge movement option. Now, it doesn't have that because, well, they gave it a shield. So it would be broken if you could just spam S2s, you know? He would have a shield before even arriving at that team fight because that shield lasts quite a while. It's like 5-second shield, so he would have 2 shields by the time he even gets to the team fight. It would be broken, I understand. But at the same time, it's depressing because I really like that movement option. And you'll see that because of that, we've had to compensate for the builds and such a little bit, slightly. Not really, but slightly. As for his S1, I think this is just overall a buff. I like the double charge S1. It's great for early game. It's great for poking. It's great for early game damage. You can be much more aggressive now with the new S2 and the new S1. You can be so much more aggressive. You can slam people in the early game now. So it's good. It's very good. They helped out his main issue, which was the early game. Now let's talk about the late game and mid game, where he actually falls behind compared to his old self. Anyhow, at least this is how I feel, right? I think he's plenty viable right now, even as is. I'm not gonna hold you. I have to like hold back my downplaying even a little. But I have to hold back my downplaying a little bit. You know, it's like he's good. Badang is very good. He's very strong. But back in my day, he had this glitch where he would have 2 HP bars when he used DHS, right? You know, when enemies' HP gets lower and lower, they used to show that with an orange visual sign. I think you can still see it now. It's like a little orange bar, HP bar, like a visual. And back then, DHS would actually affect that too. So you would get deleted. Your HP would get double deleted because there was 2 DHS affecting your HP bar. It was a very weird glitch. It was broken, and I abused it. I didn't know about it, but I did abuse it. It worked great. It made Burst Badang incredibly strong. All you needed was DHS and Golden Staff, and you just melt everyone. You just build a little bit of extra damage for when they're actually low HP, because that's how DHS works. So yeah, it was very strong for sure. So now he doesn't have that nuclear option anymore. So what does he have to do to compensate? Well, nothing really. He can't really do anything about it. It's just he has less damage now. He can't fully shred full HP tanks in like 2 seconds anymore. It's depressing. But it be what it be. It's balance, right? Gotta fix out the glitches. So now Badang needs to, still build DHS. DHS is still core on this man. His best kit, his best thing in his kit is still teamfight potential. It's still his CC. It's still his AoE damage, right? So DHS is still a must. And how does he do against lane, right? Like I mentioned how his lane is so much better now. His early game got improved by dramatically with the S1 and S2 change, right? Well, I would still think his laning potential is still kind of mediocre. It's just power creep, man. Like, what can I say? Back in my day, there was no Paquito. And now there's a Paquito running around with 152 physical attack scaling bonus on his S2. You want to know what Badang gets? He gets 50%. Depression. He gets 50% plus like 6 physical attack. It's fucking AIDS. It's power creep, man. It's power creep. It's hate to see it. That's what it is. It's pain. It's PDR. It's copium. That being said, he can still fight against them for sure. He can definitely fight against Paquito. We can definitely fight against Dirov. He was already fighting against Esme back in the day for sure. Like he could stalemate an Esme. He could actually win against an Esme. It was not easy. It was very fucking copium, but he could, right? Yeah, and I think that's still the same case now. I think if you play well enough, if you build well enough, you kind of have to counter build a little bit here and there. And, just use your element of surprise, try and poke him down, things like that. I think you can actually beat Paquito, you can beat Darov, you can stalemate against them, right? If worst case scenario, you can stalemate against them, which is not horrible, right? But I actually want to get to that. When I played Burst Badang after his rework, that was the main problem I had with him. I kept getting stalemates against these fucking laners. I could win against them sometimes, but they would also win against me sometimes. So, end result was we stalemated. And I couldn't rotate. I couldn't rotate because they were still faster than me. They could still out-sustain me. Like, Esme could out-poke the shit out of me. So she would just cut my waves, and I just could not move. I was locked in my lane, right? So in situations like that, Badang's kind of fucking useless to the team. His best kit, his entire kit is team fight. If he can't team fight, he's kind of papiga. He's kind of dog water, He's useless. So that's why Burst Badang kind of died. It's like he can't get anywhere. What's the use of Burst if he can't even move to a team fight, It's not like he was made to fight fighters. Not anymore. Back in the day, he had the DHS glitch, did massive damage. Let's go. And you can still build barefoot and eventually destroy people. But his main role was to kill mages and kill marksmen like any other fighter, to disrupt the backline, to disrupt the formation. And he did that very well because he has massive AoE and he has stuns, right? And he has a wall. And the best part is, the meta mages right now, like two of them at least, Cecilion and Javier, don't have dashes. They don't have dashes. They can't get over his wall. If Badang locks them down, they're kind of screwed. Especially if they run sprint, which a lot of them do. So, Badang's pretty strong. He, like, in every sense, he should not be meta, because he just doesn't have the privilege to be meta. He doesn't have the scaling of the Keto to be meta. But he's sub-meta. He should be sub-meta, and I think that's what he is. He's very strong. And I actually think Badang popularity is kind of rising right now, which is great. Actually, it's terrible. It's terrible because I want to downplay this man to get more buffs, which is selfish, but, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? The ultimate mix in life, the ultimate 50-50 in life, is choosing between downplaying and choosing between spreading the truth. And I choose to downplay this man to the end. He needs more buffs. I want this man to get a suppression on his ult. Yeah, he's strong. He's definitely strong. He struggles against rotations though, and that's why I kind of changed his play style. Thanks to the help of Zero, I changed his emblem, I changed his build, I changed his battle spell, which is the biggest thing, right? Badang was always Flicker, or maybe Sprint, or even maybe Inspire if you're copium enough. Sprint was great. You can use Cletus after a set, because back then Badang, or actually currently even, he can't really get out. He gets in, he can't really get out. You just got to go in deeper. All in. No pull-out game. Badang's the master of no pull-out game. That's what he is. And Flicker is self-explanatory. Get great sets, can escape, it's good. It's good. It's just good. But Arrival, that seems out of left wing, right? That seems like, what the fuck are you doing? Well, if you allow me to tell you, Arrival is great because he can rotate. You know, he can rotate. He can get places. My man has an Uber, a space Uber, or whatever the fuck Arrival is. It's like Loi's teleport. It's an Uber. It's a magical Uber. My man can go from a team fight to a lane. And that's kind of what he wants to do. Because his split push potential is pretty fucking good. His split push potential is above the meta fighters right now. It's better than Paquito. It's better than Dirov. It's better than... I don't think Yuzhong is meta anymore. But it's better than Glue. It's better than Uranus. It's better than... maybe Masha. I think 1 HP bar Masha probably still has better split push. Not going to hold you, even if she's full tank. But it's pretty good. It's pretty high up there, right? Badang's split push potential is pretty high up there. You cannot leave a Badang on your tower. He will punch it down. It just works. So that's why he wants Arrival, because he wants to do a team fight first and then Arrival split push. Or the inverse. He can Arrival to a team fight and then split push afterwards. Or, you know, do objectives or whatever the fuck it was, right? Or you can split push and then go to a team fight. You know, Arrival is very handy in that sense. So you can do whatever you want with it. Unfortunately, when I first got it, when I first got the spell and first got the build and everything, I kind of fucked up. I did a lot of split pushing and just split pushing. And, well, you know, I was reminded of why Badang sucks. Because if you just use them for split pushing, you might as well just fucking pick Sun. You don't use him for his team fight potential, it's a waste of a hero. It's a waste of a slot. He's kind of dog water at that point, right? His whole kit is team fight. You cannot forget that when you're playing Badang. Even if his split push potential is pretty high, it's not a PK, it's not a Sun. You might as well just, you know, team fight. You know, it's what you can do. Worst case scenario, you can ult something, like just ult anything, right? It still does a decent amount of damage. It provides some sort of disruption to CC. It's good stuff, right? You have to use him for team fights. And that was my biggest mistake when I first got this build. It was like, oh, there's Corrosion Scythe, there's Windtalker, there's Malefic Roar. It's going to be a split push Badang. He's going to rail these towers. Yes and no. Because it's like, yes, he rails these towers. But you can't forget his main purpose, and that's team fight. And I had to take a bunch of L's to realize that. So, yeah. So I'm letting you guys know now. Don't forget that this man is team fight above all else. And that's going to reflect in when you pick him as well. Because you don't want to just pick him in a team comp that doesn't excel in team fights. You want to pick him into a team comp that like abuses team fights. Things like Akai. Akai is like the best case scenario. If there's an Akai on your team, you can go Badang. Simple as that. Lo Yi, Melissa, Diggy, like in this game right here. It's really, these characters are great for team fights, and they can work really well off of Badang's sets. Badang can work really well with them. Lo Yi can teleport Badang into the back and just get a surprise set. It's really good. It's great synergy. Unfortunately, this Lo Yi is a random, so I didn't actually get any like backline ult sets here, but it works great still. It's just still a great synergy. Excuse me. But yeah, so now let's actually talk about the build here. And now that we've talked about how to play Badang and where he stands right now, let's talk about the build, right? So the build is Corrosion Scythe, DHS, Malefic, or not Malefic, Brute Force Breastplate, Windtalker, Malefic, right? It's a tankier set. Probably tankier than like most Badang builds out there these days, because I'm pretty sure Badang is still usually ran as burst. At the most, you probably build Oracle on him, which makes sense, right? But I don't think burst Badang is really viable, and Oracle's still good on him for sure. Like tanky Badang's pretty strong. All you really need is DHS, right? His damage output's still pretty respectable. But yeah, Brute Force Breastplate, Windtalker helps out a lot with mobility. It helps out so much with mobility. And again, mentioning the fact that his S2 is like literally twice as slow now because it's the full cooldown It's the full cooldown, so you lose half of your mobility from previous Badang. So the mobility helps out a lot. Windtalker obviously helps you clear out minions faster. Malefic still just is great for pushing towers. And it's also great for team fight. Malefic reduces pen, DHS reduces their HP. It's a combo that is old and true. You know, it's just good. Good stuff. And yeah, all in all, I would say Badang is still pretty good. Very good for solo queue. Okay, maybe not very good for solo queue, but he's like sub-meta for solo queue. If you can get like a team that is really team fight orientated, Badang is really good there. Obviously, be mindful of like if enemy has Masha, if enemy has Karina, if enemy has Argus. Try not to pick Badang into that. He doesn't really like those enemies, you know. Argus can kind of just ult in Badang's face and just slash the shit out of him. Masha can disarm him as well as have 3 HP bars. And you can't really stop a Masha from cutting your wave. And you can't really stop a Masha from one-shotting your mage, right? Like, you can't really do anything about that. And Karina obviously is immune to your ult, so you're just going to get bursted back. So don't do that. Yeah, all in all, Badang's in a pretty good spot right now in the meta, I would say. He's sub-meta. He's getting more popular. I'm glad that people are playing him more. But at the same time, I'm not really glad because I want to downplay this man. I think he still needs like more buffs. Please buff this man. I want this man to do magic damage. I want this man to just have everything. Because why the fuck not? Fuck you guys. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy the rest of the gameplay. That's kind of about it for me. I will see you guys next time, and hopefully next time will not be in a year. I think I will start producing more content. Probably just going to be more Badang, honestly, but it is what it is. It's probably also going to be a lot more lower effort. I'm probably not going to do voiceovers or anything like that too often. I just want to play the game and produce some gameplays for you guys. That's kind of about it. You guys can watch them if you like. Otherwise, yeah, have a good day. See you guys later. Peace.